chats with Diane, and she said that we'd had
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I don't think we have any members of the public to welcome, but we welcome Carol and David and Ben online. A reminder, as always, that we show respect for each other throughout the meeting in line with the obligations of our code of conduct. And do we have any apologies for absence, please?
I've got Estelle, Nick Knowles and Phil Louis. Yep.
Okay. Declarations of interest and dispensations. Does anyone have any declarations of interest they wish to?
I will declare an interest as a member of Powers County Council in relation to Berry Street toilets.
Okay. We still have no members of the public here. Ben.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, it's not really a declaration, just apologies. I have to go in an hour. I've been double booked, a work thing as well. So I'm here for an hour tonight. But I will say that I definitely back Alison's motion that's on the agenda later, and will happily second it if needs be.
Bill Owen has joined us.
Excellent. Welcome, Phil.
Thank you, Bill.
So no members of the public, so we'll skip that bit. Town Mayor's reports. Welcome to the first of my brief reports about what I've done between one full council meeting and the next. That begins, of course, with the civic service and the meeting afterwards in the assembly room. But only 3 days between the election and the service. Other than choosing my favourite hymn, the service was pretty much exactly as set without any changes. I'm very grateful to Guilsfield Singers, who came to sing 2 of the items they'd sung in the same place for their spring concert a few weeks before. They just had one quick rehearsal on Friday, and I thought they were absolutely brilliant. It's my hope, though, that we might return to having a set date for this service each year. Personally, I would think something like the first Sunday in July. A Sunday near enough to the election of the mayor for it to be the service at which he or she is presented to the town, but far enough away for the new mayor to be able to plan the event according to their wishes. So that's simply stating what my preference is. I think that to some degree that's true of the mayor making and the civic service following it at Montgomery. Anne and I attended the mayor making in the town hall on the first Friday in June. That's the first thing that we did together as mayor and Lady Mayoress. We didn't attend the civic service the following Sunday as I was taking the service elsewhere. But I thought the mayor making was done very well. Lots of due ceremony, but also time for the new mayor to set out her stall for the year, which she did very well. She, the new mayor, Claire Weston, received her chain of office from Rob Harper, who of course the last 2 years as mayor of Montgomery, and I think he will be a hard act to follow. He's been a force for good there, I think, over his 2 years. Then Richard and I attended a very useful and informative presentation on the projects that together will eventually reconnect Welshpool to the canal network. This included an introduction here in the town hall, then at Alamba, followed by a chance to see what was happening at the Wern, at Williams Bridge and the Vernway Aqueduct, and at the new bridge at Carrigover. I feel a lot more confident that boats will once again make it as far as our town. Maybe not in my lifetime, but even so, even that is possible. It is just a matter of tackling the remaining few breaks in the water. Though the last piece in the puzzle, the bridges at Mardy and Ardlean, will be one of the hardest sections to carry through. Otherwise, I've just been continuing to do the things I do anyway. Walking everywhere I can when I'm in town, tending the flower bed in front of the town council offices and the ones by the bus station, and regularly picking litter along my chosen routes and sometimes beyond. This takes longer than it used to, because I find I'm stopped much more often than I used to be by people who want to ask, as mayor, what do you think about this? Or what are you going to do about that? I'm always happy to listen and to take note and to take things up as appropriate. It's a good thing. I've also cleaned out and replanted our 2 tubs on the railway station, and I've done a few other tidying up jobs here and there. Largely because litter annoys me, and I like the place to look the best it can. And that will no doubt be a theme of this year. Most people are thoughtful and responsible in the way they dispose of litter, but the minority who aren't really do spoil the appearance of our town. I picked litter on one route on Tuesday morning, yesterday. Today, I walked the same bit and there was just as much litter there. Almost certainly because of the litter it actually was dropped by the same person. Same is true regarding dog beds. I know lots of responsible dog owners who always without fail clean up after their pets. Shame on the few who don't, and to blacken the names and the reputations of those who do. They've been a bit more in evidence, I'm sorry to say, since the beginning of this year, and particularly, it seems to me, over the past few weeks. That's just something I wanted to get off my chest. But with regard to the appearance of the town, Richard and I were interviewed on video by Dave Williams about the town centre transformation project. Don't know whether that one's out yet, I haven't actually seen it myself. And we were also interviewed about the town hall, which I have seen, so that is out there. So 1 month into the job, so far I'm enjoying it. And I'm enjoying the opportunities it brings to make useful contacts, to big up the town wherever I can, and to look to collaborate and cooperate with others for the good of our town and for the good of its people. So thanks. That leads us on to item 5, County Council and County Councillor updates. We have 2 county councillors present. Anything that either of you want to say?
Say that for those who are not aware that having the gas company having completed its work in Brook Street and Union Street, that Powys County Council are now going to resurface the remaining stretch of Brook Street in July. I've got the precise dates with me. I think it's maybe the 8th and the 9th, I think. And that will mean, of course, another closure, but hopefully a short-lived one while that work is done. And then we will have a nice, smooth Brook Street from one end to the other.
Good. Can we also make sure that road markings in the town, many of which are faded away, are renewed?
Yes, that's a good point, actually, because particularly at the junction of Union Street and Church Street,
Yeah.
they faded there because they didn't last very long. They done about 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, I'll
and also,
raise that.
as I raised with you, outside the Westwood.
Outside the Westwood.
Yeah. And we are getting quite a lot of people who don't really know what they're doing at that point, and they're getting no help from the road, from the road. Right, folks, minutes and matters arising. So this is very, yes, so you can.
What's the law on going to see the period, you know? I'm sorry, I'm one of the main people in this town, it's absolutely disgraceful that the cross is still on temporary lanes after settlement. Don't tell me somebody can't, I roll up and they tell me we can't get the park. Don't tell me you won't get the park if it's in landlord or in the grader. It's Welshpool infantry. The county council, and you won't be told, right, in my view, it ruins this town. They've taken all the buildings away, all the staff away, all the sun the other way. And now they're taking our traffic lights away, we can't get past the property. It's absolutely disgraceful with that cross has been on the temporary lights for 7 months. And quite honestly, you know, in Church Street, they put the lights so that only one car can go through, but you know, it's, I got an argue over, but I would like an answer if we can get a formal answer for it from County.
Well, just to respond to that, I think as has been explained before, that work is a responsibility for Trunk Roads Agency and not the County Council. But I agree, the amount of time it's taken to resolve it has been unsatisfactory, and that has been raised with the Trunk Roads Agency. I think the town clerk wrote to them previously about it. I don't know whether you had a reply that gave us any more useful information.
Just that, if you remember at the last meeting, you asked me to invite them to come to this meeting to talk, and they responded back today saying they couldn't get anyone to come to the meeting in time. However, their response hadn't changed from the last one, which was due to the cross-traffic signal in Welshpool following a damage caused by an underground cable explosion earlier in the year. Due to the nature and extent of the damage to the infrastructure, the repair has required more extensive design and civil engineering work than initially anticipated. The Trunk Road Agency has advised that permanent traffic signals are currently expected to be fully operational by the end of July, and the temporary traffic management will need to remain in place until that time. They've also asked the Trunk Road Agency, so this response from Welsh Government says because the Strategic Road Division respond to policy and programming issues, whereas the Trunk Road does the operational issues. So they've also said they've asked the Trunk Road Agency to review these timescales with their supply chain to determine whether the works can be progressed more quickly where possible. And they've said that if we have any more concerns or queries, we can raise them with them whenever we want. So if you've got any more, you can send them to me. I can collate them and then send them on to them. But what they said is that it will be fully operational by the end of July.
Chairman, can I make one observation? So, when we talk about the Trunk Road Agency, they work through Powys County Council, which is Powys, and Powys works through the Trunk Road Agency. So the Trunk Road.
No, what happens is the Trunk Road
Sorry, I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. They work with hand in glove with each other. But I would say, like 3 months ago, when we have a full written communication from Powys County Council, what is happening there? I don't say this is some good agency, I'm not saying it's Powys County Council, but Powys County Council are the people that we respond to and they respond to us.
Well, we'll certainly keep in correspondence with all agencies, I'm quite sure. I do regret that at no point have we moved the traffic lights slightly back where they presently are on Church Street, so that the signs and the lights can be actually on the pavement without causing obstruction, which would allow 2 lanes of traffic.
I've seen people with wheelchairs really struggle getting around, and yeah, I entirely agree.
So, I mean, that might be just something that you could mention. Right, we can move on to minutes and matters arising. This is where you start to need to look at your appendixes and first. Oh, sorry. Yes, Dave.
Thank you, Chair. Just quickly, my understanding is that the Welsh Government are the ultimate oversight body with responsibility for the Trunk Road Agency. So maybe our members of the Senate are the best route if we are generally unsatisfied with the results we're getting. However, let's wait till the end of July. I'm very happy to move on to the next agenda item.
Yeah, thanks for that. That does give us another possible direction of correspondence, doesn't it? Right, so Appendix B is the previous minutes of the full council. I go through page by page. Please, if you have any comments that need amendments or which you feel are wrong. So page 1. Page 2, I see pages are not numbered on here, so I have to count them. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. It's did go on a bit, didn't it? Page 8. And pages 9, 10 and 11 are effectively the resolutions. Would someone like to propose that we accept them? Thanks very much, Alison, and then Laura. Those in favour?
Hands up.
Hands up.
That's as unanimous as we're going to get, given that we've got on the screen. Right, matters arising. Anything you need to report? No. Resolutions are set and they've all been acted on, I think. So that takes us on to the committees during the month. We begin with events and planning, and I would like first of all to congratulate Chris Davis on his re-election as chair of events and planning. And would you like to take us through the minutes in appendix?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair. It's the events and planning June 2026. There's a recommended to appoint members as the chairman of the full council to the place in the place plan working group. But we'll go through the minutes. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Thank you.
Remind me, do we have to vote on these or do we just accept them?
No, you need to vote on
Yeah.
each
Right, we don't need to vote on the minutes themselves, though. No. So there are two recommendations which you'll see on the final page. The first is to support Welshpool Town Council's participation in Open Doors 2026. And this will include opening the Welshpool Information Centre on Sunday the 13th of September, free parking on Church Street car park for Sunday the 13th of September. That will be at a cost of approximately £250 to be met from the Community Events Cost Code. I don't know if hopefully everyone knows what Open Doors is about, and it's really about just making sure that we are making the most of the tourism opportunities of the town and making it as easy as possible for people to come and visit us. And that's both on the Saturday and the Sunday, but on the Sunday, of course, because the car park is already available on a Saturday. If we're going to have free parking, we need to pay for it.
Could I just ask whether that means that we will have all of the town hall open on those days?
So the tap room will be open anyway because the longest yarn is on.
Right.
So this room will be open anyway, but we're proposing to open the chamber
And the corner. Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to, our contribution to Open Doors is to show off this magnificent building
Yeah.
and the history behind it. Paris Castle was free entry on that day for the 2 days. The railway is doing heritage tours, and a landmark will be open as well. So it's the four of us working together and creating a kind of trail that people can go between all four. We were also hoping to open the Motte Bailey, but due to the vandalism that took place last month, we're just not able to. And we're also we're talking to the Village Plans Trust about potentially having the cockpit open as well.
Yeah. Well, that depends on the work that's going on.
Yes.
There. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's the first recommendation. I think we'll take, they're quite different, different parts of the thing. So we'll take them as two separate items. Would someone like to propose that we, thanks, that's Jackson and then Kelly. Those in favour?
Hands up.
Hands up.
you. Second recommendation is to do with planning. We are wanting to begin work on a place plan for the town as soon as possible. We have £5,000, I think I'm right in remembering, in the budget for that this year. And we need to appoint members as determined by full council to the place plan working group. That needs to be strong enough to do the job and not so strong enough it becomes unwieldy. But yeah.
So can I make a suggestion, because there's training available for place plan by West Wales. Whoever does want to go on the place working group either has done the training or will do the training.
I think that's a good suggestion, yeah. Because there's a lot of good input to that from others who've already done place plan, including she might. Yeah, so would anyone like to suggest that they be part of that group?
I would like to.
Yeah, thanks. I certainly would wish to.
More training. I'd like to, and I am trained, but I'll do it again.
Thanks.
I'd like to be part of the group, please.
Okay.
And I would too, if you can hear me.
Yes, absolutely. I was waiting for you to say something, Phil, but I know you wanted to be part.
Yeah.
The signal keeps dropping out.
I think Bill and Laura did the training most recently, so that.
Yeah. So if that's where we're at, I propose that those 5 people form the place plan working party. If there are others who wish to join us, make yourselves known later on, and if possible to add others too. But so I propose that from here. Someone like to second that? Thank you, Jackson. Those in favour?
Hands up.
3, 4,
Hands up.
8. Yeah.
Thank you. The only other thing to say before moving on to the next committee and report is that obviously this coming Saturday is really important. It's carnival. We need everyone to support it so that it really is the best carnival we've had, even if there is no procession. And then of course only 1 week further on we have the Continental Market, and again the more support we have from councillors.
I think you've all heard an email from Kim about volunteering. So if you could respond to Kim, that's for both the information point and who wants to go in the stocks.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be popular if all of you join the stocks. I'm sure there'll be a long line.
Well, weather like this, throwing water is something we wouldn't want.
Well, no, and in this current heat, getting thrown water out sounds quite appealing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I would like to say from here, I have volunteered and I hope I'm not the only one. I'm not going to spend the whole day there.
You're not the only one.
Oh, good. Right, so, oh, sorry, Maura.
I have spoken to Kim, and we will be having bottles of water at the information point as well.
Yeah,
Because
good.
again, it's going to be a very hot day. We did have it, but
Yeah, it will certainly be a lot cooler on Saturday than it is today, but it probably will still be very humid, so we will need to make sure people are hydrated.
Could anybody tell us how we volunteer, how many people want to look at school?
Well, I was just asking that question. I know of 2 so far.
I haven't volunteered for health and safety reasons.
Yes, okay.
I got very lucky. I volunteered, but said I was working till 7. How long is it going on for? And she's like, till 6. And I was like, I've got an excuse now.
just to say on Continental Market, we have done our usual liaising with Powers, and we are emptying the bins lunchtime Saturday and sometime on the Sunday, and also they've arranged for the road sweeper to go through Welshpool Monday AM to just make sure that it's nice and clean after the
Oh, that's good.
after the event. We did this last year because of the concerns. Was it 2 or 3 years ago? So we'll just say we're doing the same thing, and we'll make sure that Welshpool's looking good after the event.
Kim hasn't messaged yet about the continental market. That's Saturday and Sunday, isn't it?
Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Well, I have no excuse on a Friday or a Sunday.
Well, there's no volunteering to do. It's just if you
yes,
can,
they
come to the
haven't. Oh, I'll be there.
With your
I'm there every
pockets.
time. It's amazing. Yeah.
So that's all.
fine.
But yes, if anything is needed, do shout. Yeah.
There are no stocks at the continental markets.
No.
Not even a guillotine.
Oh, that's an no, very good. So item 7.2, operations and development. Once again, congratulations to Phil Pritchard for being re-elected as chair of that committee. If you'd like to take us through Appendix C, Phil, that would be great.
Okay.
D.
First of all,
Oh, D, is it?
first item on there is to note that we Chester Award 83,000 private patient. Welcome to Carl Centre. We all thought that was a superb achievement, actually, well done to the sample. The other part of the recommendation, is to authorize the town clerk to obtain further quotations for landscape architecture, design and project development services in accordance with the Constitution government, and to approve a period of public engagement and consultation on emergency proposals. That was the first recommendation, Chair. So one at a time, or as well?
I'm happy to take them all together, I think.
Altogether, okay. 10 more motion to all premises, that's to do with our ground staff. End of season works again to do with our ground staff. I recommend equipment 74 to our ground staff and the cutting equipment at 75. And I would say to folks, although that's something like 15,000 quid, they need it desperately because it's really, really wanted. And then there's an item there, software trial 10.6. That's really the baby of the town clerk. If you want to make a comment on it, but it is a recommendation from the committee. I put that before we can, I do, article for each one of them, thank you very much.
So we have the recommendations as said, the end of season works, accepting the quotation from Marco Hall. The end of season works part 2, accepting the quotation for a second-hand Verticut 1300 from Charlie's. And then also the recommendation to accept the quotation for a Grillo climber, also from Charlie's. Then to authorise the town clerk to obtain further quotations, etc., regarding the town centre improvement. We have also a recommendation to accept the quotation for planning consultancy on the Misadre alternative premises projects. That's £850 using Hughes Architects. And then, as Councillor Pritchard just mentioned, the soft play trial, which is about doing this as a project within the vacant market business units and allocating a budget of up to £3,000 for the purchase of equipment, signage and setup costs. I've talked to a few people about soft play and they're very enthusiastic about it, so I think that's one that I'm very happy about. There is a further recommendation, but we will return to that once we're in closed session. Would someone like to propose that we accept these recommendations?
I propose that we accept those recommendations.
Thanks very much. Seconded. Thanks, Gavin. Those in favour? Excellent. Thank you very
Hands
much.
up.
Hands up.
I think it's unanimous. That takes us on to item 7.3 and Appendix D. Appendix E, sorry, I'm looking at what's at the top rather than what's the Appendix E, which is the Tour de France Special Committee, which met on the 17th of June. I'm not sure how capable Phil Owen will be at, but congratulations on Phil for being elected as chair of this committee. There are several resolutions that we need to look at, and they are as follows. The election of Phil Owen to represent Welshpool Town Council on the Paris County Council Tour de France work stream. I don't know how possible it will be, Phil, for you to actually join that from where you are. I know you were going to look into it, so if there's anything you can say about that, that would be good. Then we are also recommending that we authorise the use of council managed land for overnight camping and parking in relation to the Tour de France, subject to approval of a fee and charges schedule. Then we have 3 items regarding co-options. To co-opt Tony Brooks as a member of the Tour de France Special Committee, to co-opt Shane Logan as a member of the Tour de France Special Committee, and then, subject to any vacancies on the committee, to co-opt Graham Breeze as a member of the Tour de France Special Committee. So I'm happy to propose all of those together, if that's okay.
Chairman, is there any reason why we can't maybe put the numbers up by 1 and put Graham Breeze in there anyway?
You could amend
I think
it.
it's always good to.
The only thing is that if you amend the number of that committee, then it will be 1 more than all the others. If that makes sense.
1 more than what?
All the others. So you have 8 members on all of your committees. If you were to alter 1, it would just alter 1.
Yeah, but maybe this doesn't matter much on the committee. This is a very limited time ban and special purpose.
You can make a resolution this evening and enter it.
Can I just ask why Phil Owen is chair and deputy?
Yeah.
Oh, it was a copying and pasting.
But yes,
I've already changed.
Mr.
The deputy is Richard.
yes.
I second the proposal.
The second proposal.
Yes, I second the proposal.
To
adopt this.
yeah. Okay.
Sorry, you've lost me now. Where are we now?
Bill has proposed adopting all of them as a block, and Alistair has seconded it.
I think it's Graham Breeze.
It says, well, subject to any vacancies.
No, I didn't
co-opt
hear
Bill.
that.
The point at
I
the,
asked a question for the why can't we have 1 extra on that?
You can.
yeah, we
We
can't.
asked the whole Graham Breeze goes into the group now.
No. You need to first propose that you increase the number by 1. And then we can.
Sorry,
You need to increase the number of the committee by 1.
yeah.
Someone needs to propose that and second it.
I think it's important, Chair, that he's a well-known county councillor. I mean, is the county councillor on every other committee or not?
No,
On any of the other committees?
well, we have county councillors who are members of this.
Because I think it would be an exception to put it straight in.
The point being that we have a system where all our committees have a membership of 8. So we need just a proposal that we increase this committee to 9, and then we can do that. Oh, I mean, isn't it rather than fulminating that? Isn't it better just to do it?
So I propose that Graham Breeze.
But no, please propose that we increase the number on the committee to 9. Then we can.
Use that number
9. To clarify, we already have a county councillor on the committee.
We do, yes.
So we already have a county councillor who is also the vice chair of the committee. So we're standing at county council level representing Welshpool if our representative isn't there.
But I do agree that Graham Breeze would be a very useful person to have on this committee.
Graham Breeze is a lot to offer.
I
was speaking, Chairman, but if we can have 2 instead of 1, it'll be a good benefit to us to have the 2 councils there.
Well,
Unless, of course, somebody doesn't want to.
can we actually do this properly, which is therefore we have a proposal that has been seconded. We should vote on that. And we can then vote on increasing the number on the of the committee, which would automatically bring allow Graham Bruce to join.
Chair, with respect.
Can I please just?
We have a recommendation there,
Yeah,
and I put an amendment to that recommendation. That's the way it goes.
no, it's not.
No,
No, the system is this. We vote on this recommendation. Then we have a vote as to whether we increase the number on the committee to 9. If that vote goes through, then Graham Rees automatically becomes a member of that committee.
Well, Chairman, all with respect, we've always worked on the basis of any recommendation like this, anybody can put an amendment to it when it comes up. Full stop.
Yeah, but I
Something goes
can't,
on here, I don't know.
I can't quite see how you can amend.
We're wasting time. Can I propose that we increase the size of the committee by 1?
Yes,
I second.
yeah, those in favour?
Hands up.
Hands up.
Thank you. Any against?
I'm abstaining.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, that solves the problem.
Job done.
So we now,
If
if you cannot join in at that point, because I was speaking. So we can now proceed to the original vote, which is now that we have an additional place on the committee. That does mean that we are therefore appointing Graham Rees as a member of the committee. So I've proposed that. Alison has seconded it. Those in favour, please.
Hands up.
Hands up.
Why are you not voting in favour of this, Phil, please?
I think it would be the proposal. I put you in again.
No, we've voted that. You don't need to amend it. The original proposal does not need amending now. So therefore, you can't amend a proposal that doesn't need amending. Right,
We've made a decision, Chair. Can we move on?
we will.
Yes, please.
Finance and Governance Committee, item 7.4, Appendix F. Laura, would you like just to
Yeah, thank you.
introduce that to us?
Most of the items that we discussed at the committee are on the agenda for discussion anyway. Well, no, having got the actual report, it was the annual report, and we presented with an excellent annual report. There were just a few additional things that we thought needed to go in it because it was based on all the new things we've done. But we just felt it needed to reflect some of the ongoing things that are very.
And we do come to that later in the agenda.
That was agreed with those additional. So it's just the lines.
I think it's just the line.
Yeah.
I think therefore we need just to accept the particular recommendation, which is to do with budget violence.
Yeah. Yes, I second the proposal that's come from the committee.
Those in favour, please.
Hands up.
Hands up.
Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? Thanks.
The other recommendation was to approve the annual report.
I think we come to that later.
We'll come to that later.
Yes, yes.
And there's a further recommendation.
It's that's item 9 on the agenda. We come now to current finance and appendices G, H and I. G being the splendid chart that we get each time, which looks fairly good for March. We've got the cost centre reports, which are item H, which have been gone through fairly well. Is there anything that we need to particularly be aware of? No. And we have appendix I, which is to do with budget overspends. 2 of those been covered in the.
Yeah, one of them's uncovered in the finance.
And that's really just to show you some areas where our budget has been overspent. There are reasons and explanations given for each one. And some of them, we may take some action that might remedy some of that. So we just need to approve these, I guess, do we?
Just note them.
Just note them. We still need a person and seconder to do that, don't we? So someone like, yeah, we've got Alison and Morag. Those in favour?
Hands up.
Thank you.
Hands up.
That is unanimous. Payment of invoices in June is Appendix J. And these, again, anything that you particularly need to draw our attention to?
No, these were scrutinised quite well by the finance committee, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Oh, and just to note, you'll see halfway down the second page, Gilbert and Davis. Those are additional costs now we have because of because we postponed the sale of them.
Oh, yes, yes.
I'm happy to propose them.
Thank you. Thank you, Maura. Those in favour, please.
Hands up.
Hands up.
Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? So that does take us now to the scrutiny of the payments. Item 8.3. This was done almost immediately on her return from foreign parts by Morag. Just like to see the scrutiny of payments, Morag. If you'd just like to.
Yes, I did. Did them the following morning. Everything was correct. And I followed through with the team, the one which was based on a quote for work to ensure that it followed that quote and was matched the quote, the payment. So yeah, everything was good.
Thank you. And that does take us to item 9, which is the annual return and the annual reports. We need to consider the draft annual statements and the annual governance statement, which is Appendix K. And we need to note the internal audit report, which is Appendix L. And then we have the annual report itself, which we will need to approve. So again, I'm looking in your direction to see if there's anything you particularly need to draw our attention to.
Not particularly. This has been scrutinised now by 2 committees, so yeah, happy to answer any questions anyone has. But you're required by law to approve it at this meeting before the 30th of June.
That's fine. I mean, the only serious question that was asked about this was about general power of competence,
yes.
And we are working towards that. But who was first? Yeah.
Perhaps,
Oh, you first.
I just wanted to say, in the 2 years previously, this year I've been the most confident. Yes, that we can take yes to this statement.
Oh yes, this just looks very good.
Second.
Yeah, thank you. So to approve the annual return for the year ending 31st of March 26, those in favour?
Hands up.
Hands up.
Any against? Any abstentions? Good. So the annual audit report follows. We simply required to take note of this. It looks very good and very positive. And again, anything you particularly want to draw our attention to?
No, just that we were very pleased with the outcome, and we had no recommendations this year, which is fantastic. There was a small bit that came up in terms of there was some documentation that wasn't available when you approved your budget for this year that we're looking at in January 2025. But as the report says, paperwork that when you adopted your budget for this year in January was positive enough to give them the assurance that you have a robust process in place for adequate pre-sent.
That's fine. So we also need to approve publication of the statutory annual report for the year past.
Yeah, if you could note this one first.
Oh, yes, yes. Would someone like to propose that we note this one? Thank you, Alison. Thank you, Richard. Those in favour?
Hands up.
Thank you.
Yes.
And any abstentions? Right. So the annual report, that has been previously circulated, and we simply need to approve publication of the statutory annual report as recommended and amended by the Finance and Governance Committee. You were telling us about the amendments, Warwick, but I think we picked that up from what you said before. So
happy to approve, but I would also like to say that since I've been on this council since October 2017, this is the first time that I have had confidence in the veracity, robustness and quality of the documents that are coming out of here at the end of the year. And so I'd like to thank Clark. Things have changed completely.
I trust we'll note that down. I'm sorry, I wasn't.
I don't feel associated with that. I fully agree with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I will
If
pass on to the team.
that, should we, would you like me to put it forward as a proposal so people can vote?
Yes,
So it's
and
recorded.
that's a good.
Right, I propose what I've just said.
Yeah, and that's seconded by Phil.
Yes.
So those in favour, please.
Hands
Yeah.
up.
Thank you. No, thank you. Look, it's a team effort. I've got a great team behind me, and look, previously people have done a lot of work to get to this point. So
Yeah.
I like to thank them.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's not a one-man show, but to some degree, you're also partly responsible for the fact we have such a good team. So
I'd like to say that this, in terms of the annual report, this is something that we got qualified for last year. So look, we're moving in the right direction that we are then now complying with what we should do. So thank you.
To be blunt, we're streets ahead of a lot of councils.
Yes, I undertook an internal audit for a local council last week, and yes, they didn't have them, even though it is illegal. So, and it's something that Audit Wales know they're trying to bring councils up to speed. So,
Can I just say we must catch up with minute signing? We must catch up with minute signing.
yes, sign.
That's true. Yes.
Sonia has a big stamp.
So I think Alison did propose that we approve publication of the annual report. Would someone like to second that, please? Thanks, Kelly. Those in favour, please.
Hands up.
Hands up.
Thank you. That's unanimous, I believe.
Did you get my certificate?
Yes, I did. I'm updating the thing.
So
Yeah,
that's
it's just, sorry, Chair, if there's any training that anyone's gone on, and they look at the back of the report and notice that the training isn't there, it's because we haven't had your certificate. So please send us your certificate so we can make sure we've got a right record.
I thought they'd missed my training up altogether. And then I realised, no, it's just that there was a huge blank area which was filled on the right-hand side off my screen by all the various ones that Phil Pritchard's been on. And
yeah, Phil did.
it's a lot to the next page.
Phil did 22 courses in that year. So.
I'm certainly enjoyed the chair, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody else, same.
Yeah.
It really is tremendous. And yeah, what I found, I've done some of those before, they were just a refresher, but it was interesting because of the things that have changed and updated tomorrow.
That's right. I mean, it is always worth going. It's always worth repeating those that you've already been on, because it's good to refresh. Right, item 10 is other matters. Paul Dingle.
I sent the letter and photos as you asked me to last meeting, and I am yet to have a look, which is frustrating, but I have nothing further to add to you based on what you said last time. I don't know if there have been any more things you want to report.
I think so.
I will chase up the reply after tonight's meeting.
I studied the trees that are growing. We planted an oak immediately outside my back garden gate, which is not a sensible place to put it, but anyway, it's growing quite nicely. And I'll be long gone before it causes trouble. So
You won't be enjoying this weather.
no. Item 10.2, a town hall transformation project to receive an update from the town clerk.
Just to say that, I think when we updated last thing, we were submitting it the day after. So of course, we have now submitted the bids to the Heritage Lottery project, Heritage Lottery Fund. And me and Bill did a video about it, and actually the comments we've had just from general people, someone stopped me today at Potters and told me they'd seen the video and it was a great project we were doing. So I think it was a good thing that people could see the project, and people are very enthusiastic about it, and fingers crossed that we are successful. We won't hear anything back until September, so there's nothing really to say about it, is it?
So simply have to wait and keep everything crossed. Item 11, outside bodies. Community risk register. We have some correspondence, which is appendices M and N, which are to do with this, which is I've received these from Paris County Council. We can, I think, if we wish to respond as a council, or we can simply respond as individuals, which is what they seem to be encouraging. Yes, Miller.
So I'm responding.
You've responded already.
It's very easy to respond. The only thing that I couldn't answer the question was the last one, which it said, does this sound better than the last one? I don't know, well, I've never seen the last one, so I can't comment on it, but it's easy to do.
I've not responded, but I will look at it and intend to. It's particularly timely, though, I think, to have this in front of us today, having just had the hottest day, well, a day which has been hotter than any other day in the 20th century, which I think is quite a striking event. And often these risk registers talk about flooding, and they talk about other weather events. They don't talk about the extreme high temperatures of the kind that we're enduring at the moment. And I will be looking at it particularly with that in mind, because as a result of the current heat wave, Welshpool High School is closing tomorrow. Ysgol Gymraeg y Trallwng is closing at lunchtime tomorrow. I haven't heard about Church in Wales School, but that may well be closing too. And if we get more weather like this, it really is going to start impacting upon all kinds of different services in our town. And I think we need to make sure that the risk register considers this kind of weather that we're enduring at the moment, and we're going to see more of, because all too often it doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, because we are talking about changes in climate that will lead to more extreme weather, the risk of flooding has by no means disappeared. That's still going to be part of the scene too. And other possibilities like high winds and stormy situations.
I don't know whether it's me, but I used to live in Middletown, and I've always known that that hill behind is a double volcano. So I actually did put seismic activity, because sometimes these things come back to life, don't they?
Yeah.
There was an earthquake recently and in Churchstone. There's been a couple this year.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that risk register, or what I thought.
One of our members of staff, they spent some time putting their cupboards back on their wall because of the variable earthquake. I didn't even know one existed until he told me that he had to put his cupboard back on.
I can see it.
But I think this is a good opportunity, Richard. I don't know if you want to promote that the town hall is hosting a very important screening. The town hall is hosting a screening about climate.
Yes, we're hosting the film People's Emergency Briefing on Climate Change, which is on Friday evening next week at 6:30. I have been putting some leaflets out around about it, and I think because it
When
was
was
the
that?
tenants.
Next Friday.
Friday the 3rd of July, 6:30.
Next.
I'm just trying to remember, Alison, is it 6:30 or 6:15? It's one or the other.
It's 6:15 for 6:45, I think, because there's a preamble before the film starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6:15 for 6:45.
In this room.
And that's
In
here,
here.
yes. Yes, so is that going to be shown again in this area, because I can't make that particularly.
No.
Yeah, it's already been shown.
Places.
I don't know any at the moment, but I hope there will be more.
It's unlikely to have another showing in Welshpool, but there will be other showings.
Yeah, that's fine.
There was a showing in Bury a couple of weeks ago, and there's been one
Yes.
in Montgomery and Llanfastlan. Yeah, it's been.
Moving on to comments from elsewhere, Dave France.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I went to the screening myself in Machynlleth last night as part of my job. I know our MP's been to the original all-day one in Parliament, as well as Gilsfield, Bury and Llanfastlan. So it is doing quite well in Montgomeryshire. I'm glad we've brought this up. I think myself and Councillor Gwalchmai were talking about the importance of heat refuges, as obviously, as we know, this is one of the coldest summers that we might have for the next 100 years, as well as one of the hottest of the last 100 years. We were thinking of, can you use the cellars of the town hall, but it turns out that there's issues there with the state of them, that it would be too costly to bring them up to standard. But I think it is something that we definitely need to keep on the forefront of our minds, because these issues aren't something that we need to worry about for our grandchildren or what have you. It's very much happening this week.
Yeah, thanks, Phil Owen. Phil? Nope, I don't think he's managed to. Alison?
Well, just quickly.
Sorry.
On the radio today, they were saying that churches are being used as cool refuges, and it may be something worth us pointing out. The older churches, like St Mary's and Christ Church, but of course that's no longer a public building, but St Mary's is a cool place.
Your town clerk and I tested that out this morning, in fact.
Lovely.
Phil?
Yeah, everybody has made the point that I was going to make. And the fact is that it was necessary to have a warm hub a few years ago when we had extreme cold temperatures. It will now be necessary, I think, to have a cool hub. And one of the opportunities we have with the redevelopment of the town hall is to have a facility, probably. I mean, one assumes that it will have some sort of air conditioning or sort of air exchange system, and it may well be that will be of considerable importance in future.
Yep. Thanks for that.
The coldest place today was the basement of the town hall, which from my staff attested to earlier. So warm hub in here, cold hub down in the basement.
All right, so that's just something to think about, and that maybe is something that needs to come back as an item at some point.
That's right. And actually today I saw there was other town councils in England doing cool hubs.
Yeah.
So it is a thing that's happening.
This is something we need,
especially in the red weather warnings in the south of England. People generally were providing cool places to go. Even though the advice is don't leave your house if you don't have a car.
And just as a general side as well, in Wales, we get a lot of people retiring, and of course, when you hit a certain age, you stop being able to self-regulate your temperature. So being able to have stuff for the people who retired to Wales means that we've probably got a lot more people who are going to be in need, than other areas. Yeah.
Well, I've been out and about today. The hottest day we've had for a long time. I have to say, two of the people I met, one was in her 90s and the other was 90 in a very short period of time from now. So they get out and about. They're not going to be put off by the weather. But that does actually mean, people who actually, maybe just because of their age, and this is also new to them, able to take it seriously as good for their health. So there is
The internal
an
structure
education
body that tells you when you're overheating starts to fail in old age. So it means that you have to be more careful and sort of remind people to keep an eye on the temperature. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, 11.2 is the World Welsh Show. Basically, the chairman of Paris County Council has invited the town clerk and a representative of the council to join him in the Paris County Council building at the World Welsh Show. It does require you, I think, to buy a ticket to the World Welsh Show, which is not included in the invitation. I was happy to say yes to this, and then realised it didn't actually say the mayor, it just said a councillor, so I thought it ought to be open to everyone. Quite happy for it to be me, but I'm quite happy for it not to be if someone else would like to go.
I would like to propose the mayor.
I'll second it.
Okay,
Give you the morning after that.
those in favour? Thank you. Okay.
Hands up.
Hands up.
That's the day out together then. Other outside bodies, do we have any reports from the council of representatives and other outside bodies, please? No, that's fine. Okay, motions for debates. We've got two motions for debate, one of which we have a written summary of, which is Appendix P. This unfortunately Ben has had to leave, but we know he strongly supports this, and if it needs a seconder, well, I think he can still second it actually. So
He actually can't.
he can't. But I will happily second it on his behalf. But this is a motion to initiate action with other bodies to improve public transport along the Cambrian line. I think we're all aware that Cambrian line, when it works well, it's wonderful, and when it doesn't work well, it doesn't work at all, mostly, because of the sort of line we've got. And so, Alison, would you like to speak to your motion?
There is as you know, there's a rail users group, which I have attended. My concern is not just railways, it is public transport.
Yeah.
There is public transport for Welshpool and for other towns along the Cambrian line is appalling. It has remained unreliable for many, many years. We were told probably 8 years ago that we were going to have an hourly train service. As we all know, it's never been hourly. The trains are frequently cancelled or delayed. We're then given new rolling stock that isn't new, it's their old stock that they're getting rid of from somewhere else. But that is only one side of it. The other side is that our buses are also very poor. They have in the past year determined that there was no longer any need to stop in Berriew early morning. And of course, many young people have made the decision to go to college in Shrewsbury. Many people go to work in Shrewsbury. They used to be able to get on the bus in Berriew, get into Welshpool, and then get the bus from there. They no longer can because the bus doesn't stop in Berriew. The saga goes on and on. And we hear all these reasons why. As I said, I have been to the rail users meeting, but it is bogged down in operational matters and the fact that this will be happening in September and this will be done, and it's because of, and we have all the reasons. This needs a strategic approach because there are some very key things. One is the fact that in Welshpool, we know that we have about, well, it's not much, under 30% of the population do not have access to a vehicle. We also know that people need to get to work, and they need to get to work in Newtown, Shrewsbury, wherever. We also know that there are businesses here that employ people from other towns. They can't get here. Last year, the train didn't run. The notice that was coming up on people's phones was it was running. It was the day of A-levels in Shrewsbury, and there were several young people who were stranded, who couldn't get to Shrewsbury because there was no transport. Of course, somebody's parents had to step in, but it goes on and on. We have the Tour de France coming next year. One of the things we know about the people who are cycling enthusiasts, several of them don't drive. They choose to use public transport. We also have, we're in a holiday area, as is, and this is why I've included the Cambrian line, because people are coming here on holiday, and this is absolutely awful for them. I will give you 2 examples. On a train now, it was hot, it was nothing like this, and I understand that this is exceptional for the country, so ignore today. But there was a man on the train who was partially sighted, a youngish man with 2 little children. The older one was probably 6. He had somebody else with him to help him. The trains were late getting into Shrewsbury, big cancellations and everything else. In Shrewsbury, he needed a train to get to Talbot near Barmouth. He would have got those little children. They'd already travelled for about 8 hours. They would have arrived there at about 11:15 at night. And the office was saying, well, we'll see what we can do. This is appalling. There were families on there, you know, a mum, 3 kids and granny, going on holiday, obviously heading off to Bourke or Aberystwyth, with big cases, young children, they've been, you know, they're worn out. This is no welcome to Wales. It is no, if I was them, I wouldn't book my holiday for next year if it was a nightmare like this coming here. And so the point I'm making is it's not just Welshpool, it is the whole thing. Unbelievably, there are no buses running from Shrewsbury to Welshpool on a bank holiday Monday. So when the train isn't running, you can't say, well, never mind, I'll get on the bus, because they don't run. What kind of public service is this? So you've read my paper, I'm sending it.
Yes, it astonishes me slightly that we now run buses on a Sunday, but we don't actually run on a bank holiday Monday. I think that's a mistake. What you want us to do is to
Yes,
consult with
please.
others, isn't it?
Yes.
But Richard.
Yeah, I'm happy to support the motion. As I'm a non-driver, I do use both the rail and the buses. In fact, I've been using the buses rather more often recently than perhaps I have done in the past. And I do know that, well, Welshpool has the busiest station on
Yes.
the Cambrian line. It's busier than Newtown. There has been a considerable increase in usage in the last couple of years. I haven't got the figures to hand, but it was quite striking. I think it was something like a 20% increase.
And we have 2 machines.
In usage. And you can notice it, you can see it. The train is very frequently full. And frequently there are only 2 carriages on the line when there ought to be 4. And it is standing room only, particularly during the summer months. So we need more carriages, but we also need hourly trains. And if we get hourly trains, usage, in my opinion, will go up even more.
Yeah.
It really will then be more used. Buses is more complicated, and I know that there were changes to the bus routes last year. I go, Tony Harvey is my expert on buses because he knows them inside out. One thing I did check, and it doesn't really alter the substance of the motion, but there is a bus, there's one bus a day which stops at Berriew on the way to Shrewsbury. It leaves Newtown at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then there is another one back that stops at Shrewsbury, leaves Shrewsbury, I think, at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the X77. So there is one bus, but I accept that there needs to be more, or there needs to be maybe a local bus service that enables people to get from Berriew and other outlying villages to Welshpool so that they can pick up the train service. So that is something that's needed. The county council did actually, when the contracts came up for renewal last year, increased its budget on bus services by something like £3 million, which did mean the introduction of some new rural routes, did mean the introduction of some buses on Sundays. I don't know why they don't run on bank holidays, but I did check and that's correct. It does seem odd to me that they don't run on bank holidays. So I think that is a point well made. So I think this motion is well worth taking up, and I wish it every success.
Richard.
Interested in this situation, and I agree with everything you said. That's nice, isn't it? It's usually, but at the end of the day, can I ask to be included in the voter would include in your statement? Because at Bellin, 2 years ago, they took the bus out, they just cut it out. They took the bus shelter away. No notice to anybody of Bellin at all. They just came along on Tuesday morning and took the bus shelter away. Right? And then they pointed out any stoppage of stopping a bus at Bellin. And it's the same now. And it's disgraceful. You go up there, 8 o'clock, 10 past 8 in the morning, the kids are standing there to go to school, their bus was stopping there. Right? And the kids are standing there in the pouring rain to go to school, and the bus that comes down from Berry all the time, about 6 times a day, right? They don't stop there anymore. They just wiped out Bellin completely, and I'd like to see that put back in, particularly in this sort of debate.
I'm sad to hear that I was very sad to hear of the removal of the bus shelter, which I have used at Bellin, but I hadn't realised that buses were not stopping there. I'm sure it is still a valid bus stop. But certainly something to take up. I mean, the need for buses and for safe places to wait for a bus, especially where children are concerned, is really quite important. Right.
Okay, yeah, I'm quite happy to support this. The only one thing I'd add is in the list of people who want to engage would be the MP as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Could I say that I think the key thing about this, there is a lot of discussion, and I know we always end up doing it because quite reasonably, they're the things that matter to specific members of our community. But there is a lot of discussion that gets to the operational, and I think that the important thing about this is we need to brush that aside and keep saying we're not interested in reasons and the excuses. What we need is a service that works, because it is affecting the economy, it's affecting the sustainability, social and environmental and economic sustainability of Mid Wales, and it absolutely wrecks any kind of opportunity we have looking brilliant next year for the Tour de France. It's messing up this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you just got in first.
All right, don't want to take too long because I know it's been a while, but I'm absolutely in support of it. It's an amazing thing. 2 things I was going to say is, one, I think that very much the age of the rolling stock is an issue. We were talking about when CFCs got banned, and from what I've heard of the people who run the trains, The characters they've given us are all 1980s pre-privatisation ones, and they've just been renovated the house stuff. And they said when they renovated to add in the air conditioning units, they never bothered to actually change the power supply that came in. So that's why when you see there's usually 4 carriages, 3 of which have the windows open to show that the aircon's broken down and can't be reactivated again without stopping the train and then doing a half-an-hour reset. So they just run them continuously with no aircon in. And the other thing is, I think that when it comes to buses and stuff, there's a big public safety thing as well. There's a gentleman who passes through Tesco's quite regularly I talk to, and he recently had a heart attack. And he'd had a heart attack, he's been told he could have a heart attack at any time and not to drive. And he's like, where I live, there's 1 bus a day. I'm not going to take the bus in, do my shopping, and then stay with a family member and have to go back the next day, am I? So you're getting people on the roads who might at any moment be a danger to themselves and others around, just because there's no provision for public transport for these people. Yeah.
Quite well.
Yeah.
David Trans.
I'd like to quickly add to the consensus. I was on the train yesterday coming back from England. I can definitely confirm what Councillor Correll's saying about the air conditioning difficulties. However, the staff were brilliant in checking in on people, handing out free cans of water. So as an organisation, Transport for Wales definitely has the enthusiasm, the care from the staff, but the funding just isn't there, as we're alluding to. And I think that we are very well placed as the council representing, yes, the busiest station in this area, to shout about that. So I'm also very happy to support this motion.
I think we should move to a vote.
Steve Witherdon, so Adam Government.
Indeed, yes. So if we alter the proposal to say,
communicate with, yes. Communicate with Westminster and Welsh Government via Senate members, Paris and Ceredigion councils and councillors, community and town councils along the Cambrian line and Welsh rail users, Welshpool rail users, PAHO and Mid Wales tourism, advising of our concerns and requests that together we initiate much stronger pressure to achieve public transport provision in Mid Wales that meets the needs of local people and visitors.
Yeah, I'm very happy to say.
Alison, can you add in the Gwynedd Council? Because the northern branch up to Bullfelly.
I'm happy to.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would make sense as well.
Yes.
So we are linked.
Right. Okay.
But,
Yeah.
I would actually, you said you were second that, so I will withdraw my office as second this. And those in favour, please.
So that's with the amendment that I asked the proposal for about Bellman.
We will look at that along with everything else. Yes, yeah.
The proposal is, shall I read the proposal out again?
I can read it.
Yeah, right. It's got the 2 additions. Did you hear those?
No.
Shall I read it out again, Chair?
Yeah.
You've already voted.
I think we voted on it.
Yes, okay.
And I think advising of our concerns includes your concerns about that, and that needs to be included in our discussions once we take
That
this.
becomes operational. My concern is that this is strategic to get action.
Because it's a similar thing to what you were saying about burying. We've not mentioned those by name, but
No.
those need to be part of what we.
It's always part of the development. Buses still come back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Understandably not stopping, that seems strange to me, so it's something that we do need to, that we probably need to ask the question about that as a separate item. As it's, so we come on to water supply issues, which is certainly very much in my mind today, Jackson.
Well, I just put this forwards in a very similar spirits to our mentioning about the tree situation for the county council and also the traffic light situation. We've had multiple cut-offs of water this year on Red Bank. where houses have been without water, many of them thankfully only for a few hours, some of them for over a day. And also, more importantly, I would say, when they get their water supply back, it's brown and not fit for drinking. So in what was the hottest days of May, there was residents who all received no water, then started receiving water not fit for drinking, and were all texted to tell that they were going to receive bottled water. And none of the people I heard did, though I have heard tell from other people secondhand that some people did, but none of the people who received the text actually got any bottled water themselves. So I think it's one of those ones that in such a time of hot weather, suddenly having your water cut off, and then when it comes back having an unfit for drinking, we need to express concerns and see what can be done on the situation. I don't think there's much we can do ourselves, but if we could as a council reach out and get a formal response, just like the traffic lights and like the trees, and with the subsidence, and find out what's going on.
Thanks. Yes, this has been going on for a long time because we've had lots of trouble on Wolver Green and around there as well over the years. They do tell us that although the water is brown when it first comes back, it is actually fit for drinking. Now, personally, I don't drink it, but I think it probably is. It probably isn't actually going to kill you. But yes, if bottled water is promised, it should be available. There clearly is some sort of breakdown in communication there. Dave Frantz.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, these are, of course, also my constituents, residents in my ward, rather. I feel that the companies like Havant Dyfrdwy, who we have decided, although I didn't decide myself, the trust with water, which obviously we all need or we die quite quickly, especially in this weather. We've trusted them with it and allowed them to profit from it. They at the very least have the legal obligation to make sure it's provided and that it is clean and that it is reliable and at a correct pressure. So again, I feel we are well placed to, even if we don't have access to the levers of power which decide these things directly, to shout out for the residents affected. So I'd be very happy to second Jackson's proposal if indeed it needs a second.
Thank you. I mean, I think that Havant Dyfrdwy are actually one of the best water companies, which doesn't actually necessarily say a huge amount about the rest. But we have a proposal made and seconded. Richard, if you've got something just to say.
Just a quick comment, because my water has been unaffected, but there's clearly something going wrong with the communication here, because I had a message yesterday telling me that my water was being cut off, and it wasn't. It was working absolutely fine.
Yeah, yes, I've had that several times.
And I presume it's because I'm in the same postcode, but I'm at the bottom of Red Bank and not at the top. So clearly there's something going wrong with the way they're communicating.
So now, are you proposing that we
reach out to the water company, request that they formally let us know all the situation? It seems like it's at the top of Red Bank, and yes, it reaches all the way over to the other end as well. They've got leaks there that happen all the time. When the pipe bursts, so they don't have water flooding the area, they cut off the whole water supply. The water comes back in stages as it's fixed throughout the day. And then once it's come back, they put something in it to deal with all the stuff that's got into the water, and that something causes the discoloration, which I've heard in some occasions has lasted up to 5 days. So find out what they're doing on the long term, because obviously if they're just fixing it and then it's breaking again in a few months, that's not a long-term solution. And do they have one?
I
And
think
if so, what's the timetable?
I mean, they have a long-term solution, which was what we've been done between Welshpool and Bury.
Yes.
Replacing mains. What the problem they've got at the moment is, the system is very old, and it has so many weak points. Once you stop one weak point from being weak and make it strong, it just forces something to give on another point. We actually have them digging 3 times, there, and there, going down from Hall Green, last year. So we have a proposal we'd like to, have undergoing, and, can I ask that you may liaise with the town clerk as to what the letter contains? It's been seconded by Dave France. So those in favour, please.
Hands up.
In favour.
That is everyone. And of course, Havant we do come to the hub regularly, so may also have a word with them there. Right, items for future agenda and date of next meeting. And date of our next meeting is 22nd of July. So you do get one Wednesday free in July, 29th. That's at 6:30. To receive items for consideration by the town clerk for future agendas, anything that people want to raise.
In the correspondence of the last few days, Kelly wanted to put a motion through about. Sorry, Kelly.
Oh, no, it's fine. I just wrong to drink. I would like to have the cross footpath taken care of, please. It seems that it's been an ongoing issue since something to do with boundaries being taken over. Because I remember speaking to Councillor Breeze last year. But once again, it's another ongoing issue because it's gotten to the point where people can't pass. I think you went last night and took care of the nettles.
I did.
Thank you very much. I received pictures from residents today who said that it was wonderful to be able to not get stung as they went down the trail. But I mean, surely there has to be something that can be done long-term so that we don't have to keep having this push and fight to get it cut. I mean, I don't know if there's some type of weed killer or a boundary that can be put down, a membrane or something.
Well, not really. I mean, it's right that there should be natural growth. It just needs to be looked after and not just left to be unrestricted. Even nettles are actually good for a lot of wildlife. So, but this does happen every year. It is the county council's responsibility to step up. And it may have got a little bit worse since a new fence was put up on the one side. I don't know, because that may have meant that growth on the other side has more impact than it had before. It is difficult to know, but every year, that and 1 or 2 other footpaths, we have similar problems with. It's difficult to know what to do about it, but we can certainly discuss it at the next meeting. Because it's no longer an urgent issue quite in the same way, because I've been down there and done that, but there may need to be some means by which we report these things, and we have some sort of guarantee that the reports are acted on at a particular time. If that's an area we can look at. But anyway, we've noted that for next time.
Just as a aside as well, that new fence that was added by what I think of as the new houses that have been around quite a while, they work in men's club, yeah. I know some people on that road, and they were under the impression when the houses were built that part of the planning permission was that fence would have a gate in, so people on the road would be able to get access to the slope there. Because of course, the other side of the new houses, there's some steps, which is absolutely brilliant for those with good mobility. But for those who don't want to go up and down concrete steps, it's a complete nightmare. And so having a gate in that fence, one might mitigate things with the path, and 2 will allow the path to be far more useful.
There's definitely a gate at this one. We walked it today.
Yes, but you know where the houses are?
Yeah.
That bit there in the middle, there's just a long wooden fence, and it's level with the car parking and there, so literally you can see it, but there's no way between the two.
We probably need to have a look at that. have another look.
We just have to go to planning commission.
But
Yeah.
yes, we'll agenda that for next time then. Right, item 14, we go into confidential session. If you don't mind us going into confidential session with open doors all over the place, we just have to hope no one's in. Yeah, thank you. Anyone seconding that? Thanks, Chris. Those in favour?
Hands up.